So here's the before of my beautiful coworker Alma. As you can see, her air touch has grown out and it has been quite a bit. So today we went in and we did a partial just retouching her. Don't worry, we are both fully vaccinated, so we don't have to worry about that. Also, we are the only ones on this side of the salon, so we didn't have to worry. So what I'm doing here is I'm using Blond Me Schwarzkopf and 20 volume for the dark sections, and then I'm picking out the light sections, and I'm using the Wella Pastel Developer, which is 1.9%, I believe, just so I could refresh those blonde ends. So I'm essentially going to be doing that. Down here, they were spaced out a little bit more, so that's why I had to like kind of sneak in like that extra foil, if you will. So like I'll, pull the blonde sections up, I'll apply the lightener, the 20 volume, and then I'll place another foil over that just so that I can keep things separated. Once I got to the top of her head, most of her ends are already light, so then I didn't have to really do that as much. Um, and yeah, and then I'm also doing air touch and I'm using my Villain highlight comb, which my go-to. I mean, just amazing. And then what I would also do is I would feather the lightener up at the root as well, just so that it would create a little bit more softness and it wouldn't be as harsh of a line, so that when it grows out, it's much more seamless and I don't have to worry about that. So yeah. So you know the drill. When you watch foiling videos like this, it can get pretty repetitive. But I did want to show most of the process. So I basically showed the whole back and I believe the mohawk section, if I'm not mistaken. And then I did the sides off camera just because it'd be very repetitive and it would just be obnoxiously long for like no reason. And then I came back when I did the money piece in the front just so that you could see how I do that. My sectioning for this is I'm doing 2 diagonals and then a straight across. And this is just so that we can create some variation. We leave some depth just so that, there's some dark in there for the blonde to pop off of. So yeah, so now what I'm doing is I'm just carving out her mohawk section just so that this way I can keep everything nice, neat, and organized. I don't really pre-section because I just find it's a little bit of a waste of time in my opinion, and I don't really need it in order to stay organized. So now that I have her mohawk sectioned out, I'm gonna just continue. I'm also using Famar foils. I love them. I'm using the rose all day and the black. I'm alternating. No rhyme or reason, more of just because I want to. And when doing air touch, you see I just pulled out that little clip, and essentially it's just to help me hold down those baby hairs because sometimes they can pop up into the foil and that can potentially create a bleed mark, and we're not here for that. So I'll use the clip as needed. And then when I get around the face, I will have the client hold them down. What you just saw me do there was I've accidentally poked a little hole in the foil when I was folding it. So I just took another foil and I folded it underneath and around it just so that this way I wouldn't have to worry about the bleach bleeding onto anywhere else. And it's just a great little trick to do. And yeah, I'm just feathering, and then like I said, I have the 2 different formulations, so I will then fold the foil up into tri-sections as well, just so that this way everything is nice and separated and I don't really have to worry about, anything mixing and creating damage, because our goal is to never break or damage someone's hair. And yeah, I mean, again, this is gonna get pretty repetitive. I know I've said that before. We're actually both off, so our salon's policy is that for us to do our hair, we have to be on a day off. So that's what we did. We came in on our day off and, we did each other's hair. Um, and yeah. So, and we like to have fun. Her and I are definitely like the fun ones in the salon. Like, we both have tattoos, we're both loud, we're not conservative in any way, shape, or form. We're very just fun. She's honestly, she's one of the cool coworkers I have. And yeah. So basically just doing that. I was telling her she had said something that was like, dude, we're recording. You know what I mean? But anywho. So I'm gonna let you get back to just watching the video for a little bit, and then once I move forward, I'll explain a little bit more for the money piece. So for all my fellow hairstylists out there, as you can see here, I'm actually having my client tilt her head back because I'm actually a little tall, and it's just a little bit more comfortable for me to be able to see when doing her hair, for her to have her tilt her head back. So I just had her tilted back just so that this way I'd be able to see and I'd be able to feather up and make sure everything is nice and even. Clients, the reason that we tell you to keep your head in a certain way is just because it helps us out as the hairstylist. And yeah. And as you can see here, I'm about to start her money piece. So I had already did the money piece sections on, the sides, as you can see. And now I'm basically just doing like that middle section. And she has a little bit of a widow's peak. So I'm doing, I believe I did 2 or 3 back-to-back fine weave slices. And I mean very fine. Like I was ripping these foils in half, as you could see. And they were dainty. Like they were tiny, tiny little foils. One of my favorite things to do. I feel like it just helps me get super close and just keep everything nice and tight. So after doing, I believe it was 2 or 3, like I said, back-to-back slices, I then took a horizontal section and I did air touch. So it was still a slice, but I did air touch just to create a little bit of diffusion behind it. And then I did 2 of those. And again, this was all using Blot Me Schwarzkopf and 20 volume. I just periodically remix. So this is the first air touch section that I'm going to do right here. So yeah. As far as the money piece section, my apologies. And then you could hold the foil the way I just was if you feel like you need a little extra grip on it, if you will. So yeah, so periodically I like to remix my lighteners just to keep everything nice and powerful and keep everything lifting. And then this is the finished application. As you can see, it's very neat and organized. I'm very big on that. I do leave a little section just to act as depth behind Money Piece. This is her toner, which I shadow rooted her with Riken 7N, 6NA, and overall toned her with Riken 9N with crystal clear added into it. And then I just trimmed up her bob haircut. I did a lot of texturizing because Lord Jesus, does my client have a lot. My coworker, she has a ton of hair. She has such thick hair. I mean, look at that Money Piece. Oh, we love a nice chunky Money Piece. And then, yeah, I just blew her out, flat ironed her, gave her a little bump. And, I mean, just look at this blend. Look at the before and after. I mean, just, we're obsessed. She was so happy. I'm so glad I was able to help her.